everybody, it's your girl Angie. Welcome back to Kiss My Cheeks TV. I am here to give you the weekend in reality reviews. Up first will be Ready to Love. This is the episode where the ladies got introduced to the men's exes. And my main question is, are these really their exes? Because some of them seem off brand, off type, and my hair, I'm over it. I just got back from picking the dog up from the groomers, and I'm on my way. After these 3 videos, I'm out to go to the gym. So let's get into it. Up first was Cornelius and Camille. The ex was Tanika. I did take a couple of notes. Tanika was the first ex that I said, I don't see him being with Tanika unless that was a long time ex, maybe a high school, early college ex, not the Cornelius of today's ex. But Camille arrives. The first thing she notices are these heels at the door. She's like, whose shoes are this? And that's why, again, why are we looking for the element of surprise? If we're dating and this is a process and this is a show, why not tell everyone, this week we're going to meet you all's friends. This week we're going to meet you all's exes. We don't need that element of surprise. But like Camille, she did not disappoint. She was like, no, ma'am. She really didn't ask too much. And one thing I want to say about Camille, because we didn't get to see these full interviews. We just got to see the hot takes of it. Camille knows how to interview. Camille knows how to talk to people. She knows how to turn her crazy on and turn her crazy off. Because the Camille that was sitting at that lady, in front of that lady, talking about, oh, I'm here for the celibacy. I'm here to date with intentions. I'm here to date while I want to walk with Jesus Christ. I said, what Camille is this? Because, see, your friends already exposed you. Your friends already exposed you for the Camille that you really are last week. So when Camille was talking at the table to Tanika, I was like, this is all bullshit, but let's move it along. Tanika was a little bit side-eyeing the 3 engagements. Are we side-eyeing Camille for being engaged 3 times? I'm not, because I don't believe it. She doesn't seem like the type of woman that has the security to be engaged 3 times. And when I say security, I mean she seems very insecure. She seems very jealous. She seems very crazy. She seems very possessive. And I don't see 3 men wanting to put up with that. But that's just me. It's time. Are we at the end? We're at the end. He walks Camille to the door, and she was like, what time old girl leaving? I'm leaving. She needs to grab her purse, too. That reminds me of that comedy special when Monique was like, when I leave the house, every bitch in the house gets their purse. She said they pocketbook and gets up out of the house when I leave the house. Another insecurity. But let's move it along. Tanika doesn't seem like she was here for Camille, but she nicely said, if you like it, I love it, and we'll just have to wait and see if her answers come true. Like, pretty much we have to wait and see if she lying or telling the truth. I got some shit to say about Camille and Cornelius at the end, but gotta be at the end. Up next, we see Phil with Tasia and Shiloh, and I believe his ex, her name was Debrina. I love that name. It's different. It's not like Sabrina and it's not Deborah, but Debrina. I thought that was a beautiful name. Debrina looks like Phil's type. She's very beautiful with the natural hair. She reminds me of Shiloh, and I can see why Shiloh has shot up to Phil's top if that Debrina is his ex. They give me the same energy. Another shock factor, Tasia walks up. She's the last one to show up. Girl, you got to be early if you want the good seat. Get there early if you want to sit by your man. But she's upset because she's like, why Debrina sitting by Phil? I'm sitting down here at the end of the table like a third wheel. Girl, I got some stuff to say about Tasia, and let's just say it right now. Tasia is the third wheel of this whole entire season. And as a big girl who last season complained about how they did I don't forgot the child name already, but the big girl of that season, how nobody wanted to date her. She was the home girl, whatever. I felt like Ready to Love said, you gentlemen, y'all gonna date this big girl. Y'all gonna keep her around for half of the season. And Tassia's time is up. She didn't have a connection with anyone. She didn't have a connection with Phil. So, girl, I guess you should just be happy you lasted this long on the show. Because usually the big girl gone week 1, week 2. But size out of it. Tassia, you really didn't have a connection with anyone. And girl, you should be happy to go home. Because these men don't seem like nobody's prize. But let's move on. Well, another thing I didn't like this week, I didn't like the double dates. Like last week, let's take Sabrina, for instance. She introduced her friends to Sean and Walter. She didn't sit Sean and Walter down in 2 chairs and let her friends fire off questions. They each had an individual turn. I didn't like how the men were respected enough to have an individual turn, but the women had to gang up and sit in a group and say, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I didn't like that. I felt like they might have been more at ease in a solo situation, but it is what it is. And the last thing I wrote was, where was Aisha? I thought Aisha was Phil's number 1. Aisha wasn't even present this whole episode. And Aisha wasn't present, and her name wasn't even on the table for elimination. So that's why this show is all over the place. It's very hard to see who is really connected with who. Shiloh likes affection, and Tassia says she's calculated. I think that calculated. I don't think she's calculated. I think Tassia just has her wall up, and I think Tassia sees bullshit when she sees it. And girl, like I said, you ain't missing out on nothing. At the end of the day, Sabrina said Phil had communication issues. Moving up. I don't recall Sabrina really picking which one she liked for Phil or not, but obviously it ain't Tassia. Up next, we have a date with Frank, Mumin, Sydney, and his ex name is Leah. As soon as I saw Mumin come across my TV screen, I said, when did Mumin and Frank have any kind of connection? You telling me they first date is I gotta meet the ex? And Mumin made such a huge impression on Frank that Frank at the end of the thing talking about Mumin that moved up to the top of my list. Since when? But anyway, Leah seems really cool. I liked her vibe. It didn't shock me that Frank was dating some Amazonian tall white girl. He looked like the type who likes the exotic, or whatever you want to call exotic. I already said, when did Frank and Mumin become a thing? Now, when it came around to Frank, him and Leah didn't understand the assignment. Like, you supposed to be questioning the girls. They let Sydney take over. She done pulled out her cell phone, and Sydney got 50 million questions in her cell phone. Now, I'm not mad at Sydney for asking her questions. Girl, take advantage of the opportunity when it presents. But Frank and Leah, that was your opportunity to tell her, hold up. We questioning you, not vice versa. I didn't write down all the shit that Sydney was asking. The main thing I got from it was he's a bad texter, but he's affectionate. He can communicate in person, which lets me know he only pays you attention when he's in front of you. Like, if he's not in front of you, he ain't calling, he ain't texting, he probably can't be bothered. So that's a red flag. And the ex said, Leah said something else. I didn't write it down, but it gave me the opinion that Frank has a wandering eye. Like, it's hard to keep his attention. Frank is giving Mumin these I want you eyes, but I find it strange that in every other dating situation, Mumin tells everyone, look, I'm waiting to have sex until I'm married. She didn't say this to Frank, because I guarantee you, if she would have said it to Frank, clip, clip, snip, snip, he don't want to be bothered. they did bring up that these are two very different women, and I think Frank is more suited for Sydney, especially the lifestyle that he says they both live. They both in that nightlife lifestyle. They both want to be with somebody, but not really looking to get married when this show is over. So I think Sydney is still the best match for him, but I feel like production telling people to say Moomin. For what reason, I don't know, but these people aren't connecting. They like it's so superficial. It seemed like every week, by week 8, this is episode 8, we should know. Okay, these people don't want kids, these do. These people really ain't looking to get married right away, these people are. Like, we should have the basic. It seemed like every time they meet somebody, it's like, so do you want kids? Do you want to get married? Yes, or I wouldn't be here. I mean, but let's move it along. Let's move it along. So that was them. Up next, we meet Walter. Walter did seem like he wanted to have individual dates because at least he brought Sabrina first and Moomin came along later. The ex, her name was Denise. Denise is another ex. I was like, Walter, when did you date her? In 3rd grade? That don't count. That don't count. You ain't got to go back to elementary school and pull somebody up. I don't see Denise and Walter having the same kind of energy anywhere along life's journey. She just doesn't seem like his type. But sometimes you can't judge a book by its cover. She just doesn't seem like somebody Walter would date. But let's move it along. Sabrina says she is too classy and too fabulous to be crazy. Mind you, I heard a lot of bad things about Sabrina on Twitter this episode. A lot of people didn't like that Sabrina had an attitude. They said she was just as insecure and jealous as Camille. You know how Camille looks at other women. I think Sabrina, you should have played along. It's a process. The men were respectable and they answered all the questions of your friends, your 5 friends, your interview collective. They were respectable and they sat through everything your friends shot at them. You could have at least played along and done the same. But Sabrina gave me, she wasn't here for the ex, which did kind of make you look jealous. Sabrina said some hot shit that I respect. She was like, if I need to know anything about Walter, I trust Walter. I believe that if I ask him a question, he will answer me honestly, and I don't need a validation from an ex. And I was like, ooh, forget your process. I understood where Sabrina was coming from, but I felt like after she had 5 men, or 5 people, not men, but people, interview her tops, her candidates, whoever she was interested in, she could have played along for the ex. You could have played along for the show. Sabrina really, y'all think Sabrina really had a styling engagement? Because to me, if you had the styling engagement, why would you even accept a date to sit there for 5 minutes? You should have said, I can't do it today. How about tomorrow? How about an hour earlier? You know? But Sabrina said she had a styling engagement when she saw Moomin walk up. I felt like she wasn't here for it. I don't recall Moomin and Walter being that close. I thought Walter was vibing with Aisha. When I tell you one thing this season has done, they have dated around. They've dated around so much, I don't even know who's connected to who. Moomin shows up, Sabrina leaves. Moomin brings up she don't want no sex before marriage. And Walter is like, look, I'm 50 shades of light skin. I'm freaky. I get down. Waiting to marriage ain't going to work for me. So how did Sabrina move up? I mean, how did Moomin move up above Sabrina? It's like you men are in the confessionals. You women too. Y'all in the confessionals telling us everything that you like, that you want. But then the women get in your face, tell you the opposite of what you like and want. But oh, they at the top. Now I understand you might be willing to work around the no sex before marriage for some kids, but really, you really just gonna date Mumin because she open to having some kids? You gotta have the sex to get to the kids. um, After a while, Mumin said she had to go too. Now, of all the exes, the so-called exes, um, Denise gave the best advice and opinions from the interviews. She said Mumin is safe. And I'm like, is that a good thing? Is it a good thing to be safe, or is it a good thing to be loved and wanted and desired? Or at least Momina give you some kids and she don't look too crazy. I mean, is that all you want? Somebody that's not too crazy? Sabrina said, Denise says Sabrina gives off crazy vibes. I don't get that from Sabrina. I don't think that she's crazy at all. I think she's a very classy lady. She's not here for the bullshit. She been through the bullshit back in the day. But I think the Sabrina is the one who was knowingly dating a married man and had a baby by him and was shocked that he had babies by everybody else outside of her and his wife. Sabrina, you got to live in your choices. You got to live in that. But Sabrina does give me, I'm just not here to take any shit. And to me, that's not crazy. That's maturity. And you can't run game on her. And a lot of you men are here trying to run game. Up next, Dante is with Zadia and Shiloh. What'd you say? Why is Sabrina still there if she knows she doesn't want kids? Did she change her mind? Phil kind of said something that sounded like she might have. I didn't get that. I don't know. I think Sabrina wants to be on TV shows. She got a fashion line she promoting. The same reason everybody else is on this show. Because you can't tell me not one person this season wants love. I don't see a single person on here wanting love. Because why would you have all these women who say they don't want no kids, but then every man on the show wants them? So half the women are already ex out and need to be sitting at home. I don't think Sabrina want no kids. Sabrina older than me. She ain't trying to start over. That ain't shit people in their 40s want to do. But right now, this season of Ready to Love DC is for entertainment purposes only. I don't see anybody finding love. So back to Dante, Zadia, and Shiloh. His ex is Stacy. Now, when I was watching it, the season is blah. I agree. When I was watching, I was looking at Stacy and I was like, I recognize her. I know her from somewhere. And then when I went on my Facebook, I saw that she posted, thanks for the opportunity, Ready to Love, whatever she posted. And I was like, that's Stacy from high school. So I know Stacy from high school. She about 1 or 2 years older than me. I was more close to her sister. I ain't gonna shout people names out because I don't want people all up in her stuff. But I knew Stacy from high school. And I knew she I recognized when I saw her, and I was like, wow, it's just cool to recognize people you know on TV. I don't know when Stacy dated Dante. Like I said, we weren't friends in high school. I was closer to her sister, who was my age, and I just know she didn't date him in high school. I don't see, from what I know of her, he doesn't seem like her type, but like she said on the show, he has grown. He has grown. But let's get into it. Zadia walks up and her eyes are rolling. She ain't here for the ex. I don't know why all these ladies, like, have y'all watched season 1 through 4 of Ready to Love? They do this shit every season. This ain't nothing new. So I don't know why so many of them have an attitude when they see these women sitting at the table, especially since last week y'all just brought y'all friends all in front of these men's faces. So it's like, it's a part of the show. But Zadia had an attitude. Shiloh is just Shiloh. She has such a calming essence about her. She was cool with it. I didn't get into much to what they were talking about. It seemed like Zadia was digging for red flags on Dante when she should have just been trying to get to know Dante and express, letting Stacy get to know her so she can give an opinion. But whatever. I think Stacy likes Shiloh over Zadia anyway. And I don't recall Zadia being with Dante. It's so confusing. But let's move on. Up next, she has a date with Naeem, and the ex, her name is Victoria. And through this whole situation, Victoria wants Naeem. Victoria don't give a damn about Zadia. Her whole energy about, like, I bet you she got a big booty. You just like her because she a personal trainer. It definitely gives me that Naeem is into the physical, and he wasn't that into you, Victoria. It seemed like this whole time Victoria was trying to shoot her shot with Naeem instead of the assignment for Ready to Love. The ex says Naeem don't like to cuddle, so if you into affection, you ain't gonna get it from him. And he was like, I am affectionate. And she was like, oh, just not with me. I said, this is a mess. We're all in agreement about Naeem's ex. Yes, that lady wants him. She was hating. She was throwing out all his red flags. Like, girl, you don't want him, I do. The ex says women look at him as a way up. And I'm like, well, what is his occupation? Because I don't recall. Is he really balling to where he getting women as a way up and out? I didn't see that. She says people look at you as a way up and out, and all you looking at is the fat ass. So that tells me that Naeem is one of the ones, if you look good, he'll spend a little money on you. And some women, that's all they looking for. Last and definitely least, Phil goes out on a date with Stacy. I said this is 100% for the game of the show. Not Stacy, but Sydney. Sydney said, only person interested in me is Frank. I need to get some more people on my team. So she asked out Phil. The only thing I saw in this date was ass. She had her ass in Phil's face every opportunity she can get on the machine and put it in his face. And it's a numbers game. I mean, I do like they had a little bit of chemistry. But Sydney, I don't dislike Sydney, but Sydney has a bubbly, flirtatious, touchy-feely personality that most men would gravitate to in the beginning. I don't know how much of it holds their attention. Like, a lot of men are gravitated to the body and the flirtatiousness, but once they hit, they on to the next. Now, I ain't calling Sydney that type of woman, but I'm just saying I see her having chemistry with a lot of men. I just don't know how long lasting it will be. But let's move on because, like we said, this season right now is entertainment value only. Ain't nobody really looking for love. We back at the round table with Tommy. Everybody giving off their tops. Frank, um, at some point, Frank said he thinks Zadia would take advantage of Naeem, and I'm like, what? What is Naeem's occupation? Why is everybody worried about somebody taking advantage of him? I don't recall. Walter, everybody's giving their bottoms. Walter looks at, somebody said Camille, and he was like, look, out of respect for Cornelius, we're going to take Camille up off the table. And right here, I call bullshit. That's not fair. That's not fair. Why are we taking, hey, Mari, forgive me if I say your name wrong, but how you doing? To me, it's not fair for them to be taking Camille off of the table for Cornelius. That just tells me right now, Cornelius and Camille are going to be at the end because nobody's willing to vote her off. And I'm sure the women are going to do vice versa. I don't know if the women will do vice versa. These some shady women. I don't know. The women might not do vice versa for Cornelius. But to me, it's just not right. It's not right. If Camille is not Camille and Cornelius have not even worked the process. Camille has only had eyes on Cornelius since day one. To me, if that's how you're gonna play the game, that's how everybody should play it every season. Like, why even go through the process? Let's just grab our hooks into somebody and that be who it is, and we ride it out to the end. But you know what? I want, for the entertainment of it all, I want Camille and Cornelius to make it to the end because I want to see the destruction at the reunion because they ain't gonna last. Frank and Walter both have moved Mumin up to the top of their list, and I'm like, really? Really? Walter, I could probably understand, but I don't because he ain't down for the sex before no sex before marriage. Frank definitely ain't down for it, so I don't know how Mumin moved to the top of Frank's list. Um, Cornelius then tells everybody how crazy Camille was about meeting the ex. And Tommy is like, ain't this a red flag? Are you missing it? A sign? You don't see it? You like crazy? I told y'all men like crazy women. I told you what my mama said. I told you what my mama said. I ain't gonna keep saying it. But if you've seen my past videos, you know what she said about crazy women. Walter again wants to save Camille, but then Phil was like, okay, well, we saving Camille. Let's go ahead and get rid of Sabrina. And I'm like, see, Walter, that's what you do. You gonna try not to curse. You gonna mess around, try to save somebody for Cornelius, and then all your votes gonna be sent packing. Because I don't see it with Mumin. I don't even see how Mumin got so many people interested in her when none of them have. The only person that wants no sex before marriage is Cornelius. Why are those two at least not giving it a shot? But anyway, Tasia and Sabrina are up for elimination. Let's get Tasia on out the way. Her and Phil ain't say too much. Phil said, you ain't ready to love. Bye, girl, bye. And Tasia took it well and she left. And I ain't mad at you, girl. You ain't missing out on nothing this season. Now, Frank meets with Sabrina. This is why I like Sabrina. Number one, Sabrina came on the TV in these navy, like palazzo pants with white polka dots with a roughly yellow shirt. I said, bitch, that outfit is everything with some red shoes. Sabrina can dress. Sabrina can dress. I ain't never seen her look bad on this show. Then she sat down with Frank and was like, the men, I forgot what he said the men said about her. I think they had touched her crazy. And she was like, look, I'm here for the show. I'm here for the moving around of it all. I don't hear from you all when it's women's elimination week. You all only want to text and call me when y'all on the chopping block. And she was like, this week, you ain't called me not one time. The only time I talk to you is if I call you. I'm happy she called it out. I'm happy she called it out because that's kind of what I got the feeling of. Like, when it's our turn to be on the chopping block, we going to call, we going to flirt, we going to do this, we going to ask you out on a date. But when we ain't on the chopping block, whatever, which one of y'all going home? And I'm happy Sabrina called it out. One thing I wish Sabrina would have did, I wish she would have said this show is some bullshit, got her purse and went home, because Sabrina, it ain't no men here for you. Not classy, sophisticated you. Don't let them sit up here and make it seem like you crazy because you got your shit together and don't want to put up with they bullshit. No, I wish you would have got your pocketbook and went on to the house and said deuces to Tommy and the show, especially to Frank. You should be like, well, fuck you then. Next week, they going to a retreat. The retreat is going to be at the same house that they was throwing a salad across the kitchen on Real Housewives of Potomac. I can't wait to see it. It seems like Zadia and Aisha is going to get into it a little bit, but Aisha, you weren't even on the show this week. That should tell you something. That Nan Man had you at the top of his list for you to meet an ex. Not even Phil. Who are they arguing over next week? Are they arguing over Phil? No, they must be arguing over Dante. But girl, Zadia Dante don't even want you. He wants Shiloh. I don't know. Like you said, it's gonna be a good episode next week, and that's what I'm looking forward to. I want to see the confusion. At least show me the drama, because it looked like Mumin is a little bit jealous of Sabrina, but I don't know how. When Walter said you at the top of his list, so I don't know. This seems like a lot of bullshit. Oh, I'm running late. I said I was giving each one of these videos 30 minutes because I have to go to the gym. Um, they need to go back to a resort. Zadia keeps an attitude. I didn't like it when they had Ready to Love on the resort because it was only so much they can do. Now, the one thing at the resort, it was a little bit spicier because I believe it was a lot of sex going on at that resort. So it was a little bit spicier. But I like when they're in the city so we can see them actually work, date. You know, most people not falling in love on the island. Most people got jobs and everything else. All of Phil's because Phil got a lot of connections. He got Aisha, Shiloh, not Sadia. Is it Zadia? Aisha, Shiloh. I know he done picked up Sydney. Oh, he had to see it. To see it is gone. He got the hot-headed exes. He got Aisha and Zadia, who are about to set it off at the retreat, and I can't wait to see it. And I just can't wait to see it. But I'll be back next week, probably the same time next Monday around this time, 4 o'clock, do the weekend and reality reviews. I'm getting ready to turn this one off, and we're about to get into Love and Marriage Huntsville. That's going to be my next live reunion part 1. And I'm going to try to get that done in about 20 minutes because I got to go to the gym and I can't be late. So thank you all so much for watching. If you're watching this on the rewatch, please get in the comments and let me know what you thought about this week's episode. Go ahead and like this video. And if this is your first time with Kiss My Cheeks TV, forgive me. I'm on my way to the gym, so I don't have my glam. But I do usually have my glam. And go ahead and hit subscribe. I do all the reality show videos and the reality competition shows like Survivor, The Challenge, and all that. And look around. I'm sure you'll see some other reviews that you're like, I appreciate your subscription. So I will see you all in about 2 minutes for the Love and Marriage Huntsville. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.